How do you deal with fear? Most of us, when we feel fear, we do one thing. We avoid. We run away from it. Now, this makes sense. This is human nature. When we feel unpleasant things, we avoid at all costs. Our brain's quite simplistic in this way. It wants to avoid what feels unpleasant, and it wants to move towards what feels pleasant. Now, when we have debilitating, widespread chronic pain, symptoms, nervous system dysregulation, our internal world can feel really overwhelming. And so we try to check out. We try to do everything we can to make these sensations go away as fast as possible, or we just distract ourselves, like I said, check out, do anything we can to not focus in on them. Now, when we have chronic pain and symptoms, we also have all these triggers externally, like movements, positions, foods, certain places. And when external triggers have set off your pain and symptoms, we now start to avoid those. So we shrink our world more and more and more. And again, you're not to blame for this. This is what happens to most people with chronic pain and chronic symptoms. When I had debilitating chronic pain, my world got so small to the point where I barely left my apartment. And to heal, we need to change this avoidance cycle. And what we need to do is face our fears. The only way to overcome a fear is to face it. You will never overcome a fear long-term through avoidance. Avoidance is a danger signal to the brain. So if you avoid sensations inside or you avoid external things, the next time that sensation or that external thing occurs, you're going to feel even more in danger. Your brain's going to view it as very threatening because now you've spent all this time avoiding it. So avoidance is a danger signal. That's really key. And so to overcome a fear, we got to face it. We need to slowly and gradually face our fears. When I work with clients, I'm really honored. I've had so many courageous people slowly and gradually face their fears. And as a result, their pain and symptoms went down over time. Now, there's 3 areas you need to focus on in terms of facing your fears. Area number 1 is facing your fear of attending to pain and symptoms in the body. This is where brain retraining comes in. We are getting exposure to attending to, approaching, and exploring any pain or symptom. So say you had shoulder pain, you're exploring, you're getting to know, what does this feel like? What happens as I'm curious about it, as I explore it? Does it increase, decrease, move, or change? But instead of running away, distracting yourself, or trying to make it go away, you're learning to attend to it with curiosity and compassion. And what we're doing here, by facing your fear of being in your body with the pain and symptoms, we are changing what I call the sensitization cycle. The sensitization cycle is what will perpetuate your chronic pain and symptoms. So imagine you have pain and symptoms, and then you have a dysregulated response. Fight, flight, freeze energy, toxic fear, constant fear taking place, avoidance behaviors. As that happens, your brain feels more in danger, produces more pain and symptoms. More pain and symptoms, more dysregulation, more pain and symptoms. And so by actually facing your fear of embodying your pain and symptoms, learning to be with it with curiosity, compassion, and cultivate safety with it, over time, it starts to break down this sensitization cycle, and that's what's going to help you heal. But you need to slowly face your fear of being with your pain and symptoms. Now, I want to put a disclaimer here. Mild to moderate at first. When you have a pain flare, some strategic avoidance is okay. Heat, ice, lying down in a dark room, distracting yourself with a funny TV show. Like some strategic avoidance is okay when pain and symptoms are too high, but when it's more tolerable, we need to learn to attend to it and create safety with it. So that's the first area you need to face your fears. Second area, you need to face your fear of being with difficult emotions or nervous system dysregulation inside. So difficult emotions can include fear, anger, sadness, guilt, shame, love, or joy. And so these are the difficult emotions. And again, I'm saying difficult, but some people are fine with fear, but find anger really overwhelming. So you'll have to focus on the ones that you tend to run away from. These, emotions kind of fall all over the nervous system, but your nervous system states are flight, so anxious, nervous, panic; fight, this would be irritated, frustrated, angry; or freeze, shutdown, where you feel numb, disconnected, hopeless, helpless, despair. Guilt and shame is going to really live here. Now, a lot of us, we run away from difficult emotions and dysregulation. And to be honest, we might have done this for years and got away with it. But over time, it actually starts to increase the level of danger your brain and nervous system feels and can be the cause of your pain and symptoms being triggered and will definitely worsen them over time. A lot of people start to fear emotions or dysregulation because they worry if they feel it, that it's actually going to make their pain and symptoms worse. What the research shows is that by getting exposure to being with difficult emotions and dysregulation will actually start to lower pain and symptom sensitivity over time. Dr. Schubiner has done, Dr. Howard Schubiner, he's wonderful. He's done some amazing work here showing that when he got participants in his studies to attend to difficult emotions and feel them, that their pain and symptoms actually reduced, and for some people, it became eliminated. And so we need to face our fear when the sensations are mild to moderate of getting exposure, being in our body, and learning to create safety with emotions and dysregulation. This is really essential. I've seen people try to skip this step, and I totally get why. No one wants to feel this stuff, but it's really vital for healing. When I started to do the emotional work, nervous system dysregulation work, my healing took off over time. I started to make great progress. I have a free embodiment practice for emotions. I'll put the link down below. This will get you started for free, but you need to feel emotions and dysregulation each and every day. If you do one, inner practice on emotions and dysregulation a week, that's not going to be enough. You're a human being. You're meant to feel the full spectrum of emotions and the full spectrum of nervous system states each and every day. That's normal. Already this morning, I felt some sadness, felt some happiness. I went for a nice walk with my dog. I felt some anger. I couldn't get my computer to work right before this video already. And we're talking, what time is it? It is 7:50 in the morning. I've already experienced 3 different emotional states. That is normal. You're never going to get to a place where you just feel safe and calm perpetually all day. So we need to get exposure to doing this. And as you learn to create safety with emotions and dysregulation, it is going to regulate your nervous system more. And that's actually going to lead you to being into a safe and connected state more often. I know it seems counterintuitive. By approaching unpleasantness inside, it actually gives you more access to safety and calmness. Now, the third area you need to face your fears in is graded exposure to movements, activities, positions that you've been avoiding because of your pain and symptoms. As I've said, most people, and when they have pain and symptoms and they get worse over time, their world gets so small and we don't realize it happening. But eventually we get to this place where we're terrified to do anything. And I feel for you. I was terrified to do anything. I was terrified to walk more than 10 minutes. I was terrified to sit in most chairs or seats at restaurants. I was terrified to talk to a friend for too long. I was really scared that all these things were triggering and worsening my symptoms. But when pain and symptoms are neuroplastic, positions, movements, activities are actually safe. What's happened is your brain has misinterpreted these things. It's made mistaken dissociations. So for example, back and hip pain got linked with walking for more than 10 minutes. But I was actually safe to walk. My body was actually completely healthy and capable. My brain just misassociated, okay, Back and hip pain is triggered with walking, and so each and every time it just occurred. And so what did I do? I avoided walking at all costs. The more I avoided it, the worse the pain became the next time I had to go and walk. Graded exposure is essential to healing. You could do everything else I've talked about in this video, but if you skip graded exposure, your healing's going to be very stuck in place. Now, I want to be clear, you need to do this slowly and gradually. Don't go and run a marathon if you've been scared to walk for 10 minutes. When I was starting exposure work with walking, it was like 3 to 5 minutes, I think, back and forth in my apartment. And then when I could walk 10 minutes, I would do it outside. And then all of a sudden I could walk 20 minutes and I could walk around with a friend to the store. But it was slow and gradual. I think the graded exposure piece took me about 5 months. In 5 months, I went from basically immobilized and bedbound to fully moving my body at the gym, working again. So 4 to 5 months isn't that long to go immobilized to fully moving. I believe that people can do this. When your symptoms are neuroplastic, your body is healthy. It is capable. But we need to show our brain by facing our fears that we're able to live life fully. So start with the graded exposure, nice and slow. I have a video of how to go bedbound to fully moving. I'll put that link down below, but you need to start to slowly face these fears. I would say the graded exposure work, to be honest, was some of the scarier work that I had to do. But I believe you have the capacity to do it. So just slowly inch your way towards it. So this is my video on facing your fears. Again, facing fears is essential to healing your chronic pain, chronic symptoms. Go slow, but start to make progress in this direction. If you have questions or comments, you can put it down below. For the remainder of the day, I would suggest pick one of these 3 areas and start to focus some healing work in them. Start to work away at it. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.